In 1989, R.L. Stine released the very first book in his soon-to-be-hit series, Fear Street. And since then, we have had over 100 books, as well as millions of copies in print. Several of the books are still in print today, and as you can see behind me here, Netflix is about to do their own movie trilogy. If you're like me and you grew up on these books, it is a great time to be a Fear Street fan. So to celebrate and to get ready for this movie trilogy, I am going back to the very beginning and reading all of the Fear Street books from beginning to end. That is over 100 books. It's a big task, but I'm up for the challenge. I already released the first part of this vlog in May, so I'm just continuing where I left off. In that video, I read the first 2 books in the Fear Street series, and that was just kind of my primer. I was just getting ready because throughout the month of June, leading up to the first part of the movie trilogy, I'm going to be reading as many Fear Street books as I possibly can. Between my work schedule and writing, I'm hoping I can average about 3 books a week, so that means about 12 books before the first movie comes out. So I'm going to be sharing my non-spoiler thoughts for each book as I read along, and then at the end of this vlog, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts in reaction to the first part of the Fear Street movie trilogy. I'm really pumped for it. It looks so good. Everything I could have possibly imagined and more. But anyway, enough about the movies. We are here to talk about the Fear Street books by R.L. Stine. So this is the Overnight. This is the 3rd book in the series. This is the next one I'm going to be reading. So I have already started this and I'm about 30 pages in. I was actually reading it last night while I was sitting on my hammock. It was really relaxing. So far, this is about a group of teenagers at Shadyside High who are getting ready for an overnight on Fear Island. Fear Island is located past the Fear Street woods in the middle of the lake. So these kids are going there for an overnight camping trip. It's gonna be a lot of fun, right? Unfortunately, the camping trip has been canceled. Their chaperone has called off, so oh well, looks like the camping trip isn't happening. Except it still is, because man, these teenagers are resilient and they're gonna go on this camping trip, damn it. So the camping trip is still on. They're just not gonna mention to their parents that their chaperone isn't gonna be there. So instead we have a group of unaccompanied minors who are off on their own on this island, and there is already lots of tensions between the characters. Our main character Della just broke up with her boyfriend recently, and her boyfriend does happen to be in the group on her camping trip, and he has already moved on with Sookie, who's kind of like the punk character in the group. Della does not like Sookie at all for many reasons, mostly because Sookie is now dating her boyfriend. Overall, I am having a blast with this book so far. It is so much fun, especially the whole camping angle. I do love a good camp story, so I will check back in with you very soon to let you know my thoughts on The Overnight. Alright, it is the first Sunday of the month, and I have finished reading The Overnight, the 3rd book in the Fear Street series, and I've already told you, of course, what the plot is. But basically, our main character, Della, is alone in the woods on Fear Island, and she comes across this stranger, and he's very mysterious, and she's like, hey, he's kind of handsome. So she starts kind of flirting with him, even though he's kind of weird. She's all like, hey, you're kind of hot. He's like, hey, yeah, you're kind of hot too. By the way, I'm a psycho and I'm gonna kill you. And she's like, oh no. And then that's where the book takes off. And I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, I actually really enjoyed this one. I like this one a lot more than the last 2. It's not my favorite Fear Street book, but I would say of the first 3, this is my favorite so far. There was a point where I had a lot of predictions about who the main culprit of the story is, and I was wrong. I thought it was going to go in a much different direction than it actually went. So it did surprise me. I would say that if it had gone in one of those other directions, it would have been a little more interesting. I still wound up really liking this in the end. I'd say I give it about 3.5 stars. So the 4th book in the Fear Street series is called Missing, and I actually don't own an original copy. I have just this reprint edition that was released pretty recently. So I am, I don't know, about 50 pages in so far. Basically, there are these 2 new kids who have just moved onto Fear Street, and one night their parents don't come home, so they're like, they're probably just working late. We're gonna throw a party.
I just want a party!
So they do. And then the next day, their parents still haven't come home. So they start to look for their parents. So far, this one is interesting. I will say it is a little bit on the slow side, but overall it is an interesting take on a Fear Street story. So I'm excited to see what exactly happened. I'm kind of like, I'm just gonna make a prediction. I'm not gonna say if this is true or not because I don't want to spoil it, but I'm thinking there's some cult stuff tied into this one. It just feels like that. I'm not sure yet, we'll see. It seems a little culty to me. Anyway, I'm gonna go make some tea, then I'm gonna sit out on my patio and read Missing. You probably can't really see me too well because it's pretty dark, but I'm going on a walk around the neighborhood. And there's this garage right behind me. You can probably see it just a little bit. And I have a creepy story to tell you. So, Halloween last year, 2020, I was out for a walk. It was at 11:30 and I was kind of like sad. And I was wanting to, I guess, say goodbye to Halloween. So I'm walking around my neighborhood, it's a full moon, and I'm walking by that garage. And my mind isn't really on spooky stuff. Like I said, I'm sad. I hate that Halloween is over. When out of the corner of my eye, once I reach that garage, I see something move. And I saw it pretty clearly. It was this very tall shape. And seriously, like, it looked like a man who was flattened, like a crushed man. And he stumbled toward me, and I turned around really fast, and nothing was there. It scared me to death. And I stood there for a moment, kind of like in shock. And then I took off running down this road all the way home. Scared me to death, guys. It was like the most Fear Street moment I have ever had, which is why I'm sharing it in this vlog. So yeah, I can't believe I just walked by that place at night. It's the first time I've done that, but I kind of wanted to do it for the vlog. So there you go. Now I'm gonna go home because I'm kind of creeped out. And I'm gonna get in the shower, and then I'm gonna read some more Fear Street, and I will give you an update here in a minute. All right, so I am back home from my little spooky walk. I took a shower and I wanted to update you on my Fear Street reading progress. So the other day when I was laying out on the hammock, that was a Sunday, beautiful day by the way, perfect weather. It was super nice and warm, but not too humid. There was a nice little breeze. I was just living my best life, reading Fear Street books on the hammock. It was wonderful. So I finished Missing, and I'm not gonna tell you, like I said, not gonna tell you if my guess was right about the whole cult angle. You'll just have to read the book, see if I was right or wrong. But overall, I really liked the book. It was, I would say, not as well written as the previous entries. It felt a little rushed. I mean, the other Fear Street books aren't exactly well written, but this one just felt like R.L. Stine had kind of slapped it together pretty quickly. The last part of the book was a bit better, but the first part was pretty sloppy and choppy. But was there any sloppy chopping in the book? No, there wasn't. It was a relatively low body count, which was disappointing to say the least. Overall, I would give the book like 3 stars, so it's kind of on par with The New Girl and The Surprise Party. The Overnight, I would say I rated about 4 stars overall. I thought that was a really solid book. However, the 5th book in the series is called The Wrong Number, and I am already nearing the end of this book. I don't actually own a physical copy. I'm still looking for like a vintage first edition, but I did see that Hoopla has the ebook, so I got it off of there. I've been reading it on my phone, which murders my eyeballs. I actually just ordered a pair of blue light glasses because I just can't read on my phone for long periods of time because it just messes with my eyes. But anyway, I'm reading The Wrong Number and I'm loving it. Like, this is so far the best Fear Street book, and I'm surprised that I haven't actually read this one before. So obviously the book's from 1990. So we have our main character. She just received her very own landline. Remember those? And her friend comes over one night. Friend pressures her into making some prank phone calls. Stuff goes down. They witness a murder. They get tied up in it. Gives me some anxiety because it is super tense, and I would just really not want to see myself in a situation like this. Overall, I'm just loving it so far. It's so good, and I can't wait to finish it up. So I'm going to probably finish it up tonight before bed if I don't fall asleep first. If I do fall asleep, then I'll just finish it up tomorrow, and I will let you know what I think. So see you then. Hey creeps, it is a spooky Friday afternoon. It is rainy and cloudy and dreary, and I've heard a lot of thunder today. It's the first time I've heard thunder so far this year, so that's been really cool. Needless to say, it is a great day for some tea and Fear Street. So right now I am drinking some peach apricot green tea. This is from Evil Tea Company. I got this in the latest Nightworms package. And it is delicious. I can definitely taste both the peach and the apricot. It is so, so good. And green tea is my favorite kind of tea, mostly because of the health benefits. So, like I said, it is Friday, and that means that the Fear Street trailer was released a couple of days ago. That was the complete full Fear Street trailer. And wow, I am very, very excited. And I actually posted a reaction video, so I'm gonna post that up there in the card symbol so you can go and check it out. I have my full reaction to the trailer as well as my thoughts overall, and I think it's gonna be really good. I'm really, really pumped for it. And in fact, I've watched it several more times since then, and some of the things that I was a little unsure about before, they're starting to grow on me, and I decided, you know what, I'm all in, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. But I also finished The Wrong Number. So like I said, I was reading this on Hoopla, which means this is the only one so far that I've had to read through ebook. And it took me a little bit longer to read for that reason, just because my eyes can't take it. And my blue light glasses haven't come in yet. So I'm still waiting on those. I had to just break up my reading into little spurts so that way I wouldn't get a headache. But I did finally finish it. And of the first 5 Fear Street books, The Wrong Number is my favorite. I loved it, and I don't think it's as good as like Silent Night, but like I said, of the first 5 Fear Street books, it is solid. It is tight. I like the characters. I like the pacing. I also love that we're still having a bunch of crossover characters. We're still having the characters from the very first book popping up here and there throughout The Wrong Number. It's just so fun to see those crossovers and those Easter eggs. That's what makes reading these books in publication order so exciting. So I gave that one 4.5 out of 5 stars. And the next book is The Sleepwalker, which fortunately I own a physical copy of this one. So I am really excited to read this. I am already about, I'm 15 pages in. I've read 2 chapters, and I'm loving this so far. It opens up right off the bat with our main character sleepwalking through Shadyside. And it's all foggy. Of course, it's the middle of the night. People are driving by, but they don't notice this ghost-like figure sleepwalking through the streets. It totally matches the vibe of the front cover. It is so moody. I love it. So after that, we jump back 3 weeks, and we are following our main character, whose name is Myra Barnes, and she is about to start her very first summer job, and she's basically going to be just looking after this old woman who lives on Fear Street. The old woman's name is Mrs. Kotler. She just seems like a sweet old woman. She has a whole bunch of knickknacks, and basically Myra just has to dust this lady's stuff and read her books, and that's about it. So it's a pretty easy job, but I'm guessing there's something not quite right with this old woman. So I'm excited to dig in even more. I'm going to do that right now. All right, it is Saturday, June 12th, and I just got a package in the mail. So with the Fear Street movies coming out, my main hope is that we're gonna get more and more Fear Street merchandise. And a friend of mine actually texted me, was like, hey Cam, look, there's a Fear Street t-shirt, and I had to order it right away. So I thought I would unbox it for you guys. So this is from Sadist Art Designs. And I actually ordered 2 shirts from them. And the first one here is, of course, Fear Street. And it says, I was raised on Fear Street. I just love it. So it's just a simple black t-shirt. Pretty simple, but I'm just glad to have a Fear Street t-shirt finally, to add to all my Goosebumps t-shirts. And of course, to go with that, I also had to get the Christopher Pike shirt. So this says, I'd rather be reading Christopher Pike. I can't believe I actually live in a world now where I have Fear Street and Christopher Pike t-shirts. This is just unreal. All right, I'm gonna try on the Fear Street shirt. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so it fits really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off since I know that it fits well. Look at that. That is so good. The fabric's really, really nice as well. Very soft. It fits really well around my arms. I hate when t-shirts like do that triangle thing where they pop out. It just annoys me. But this actually fits well around my arms. Makes me look like I have biceps when I really don't. So yeah, this looks really cool. I want to try on the Christopher Pike shirt too. All right, so yeah, very, very nice. It fits just like the Fear Street shirt, and it's very soft, and it just looks so good. Look at that. As for my reading, I am still, of course, reading The Sleepwalker. I read a little bit more yesterday. I'm about 40 pages in. I had a whole bunch of editing to do yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to read too much of this. But so far, I'm loving this. We're still following our main character. She's still working with this old woman as a caregiver. And it's becoming pretty clear that this old woman might actually be a witch. The atmosphere here is on point. It's also very cozy, and I'm just loving this. So I'm gonna read a whole bunch more today. It's a Saturday, so I'm gonna try to enjoy myself today. Anyway, I will check back with you guys in a bit. This is probably my new favorite place to read. So cozy. Mayra had to walk past the Fear Street Cemetery to get to the bus stop on Park Drive. Two very blonde kids, a boy of 8 or 9 and a girl maybe a few years older, were laughing and chasing each other in a wild game of tag just beyond the cemetery wall. Why are they playing in there? Mayra thought. She had a sudden impulse to yell to them, to tell them to go play somewhere else. Hadn't they heard the awful stories about the Fear Street Cemetery? When she was a little girl, a boy from down the block had given her bad dreams for weeks by telling her the story of why the gravestones were all crooked. It was because the dead people underneath were pushing up with their shoulders, pushing up every night, trying to push the gravestones away so they could climb out. To this day, crooked gravestones in the cemetery gave Mayra the shudders. She started to call out to the two kids, but they were gone. Their high-pitched laughter still rang in her ears, but they were nowhere to be seen. I just finished reading The Sleepwalker, which is the 6th book in the Fear Street series, and I really enjoyed this one. I don't want to tell you guys any more about the plot because I don't want to spoil anything, but this was a lot of fun. I think the atmosphere in this one reminded me a lot of the first Fear Street book, The New Girl. Most of the time, I would say, if you live on Fear Street, do not own a cat, because cats don't make it very long on Fear Street, I'm sad to say. But there is a cat in The Sleepwalker that's honestly really badass. So if you like cats as much as I do, I think you'll really like this one. This also had a really good twist at the end, and I also really liked Mayra, the main character. Now, Fear Street characters, they tend to be pretty shallow. There's not a whole lot of depth there. But honestly, Stine's female characters in the Fear Street books, they're not bad. I've noticed that these are girls that really get to the bottom of things, and I feel like girls at the time reading these books could really look up to these characters. I mean, even me, as a 28-year-old man reading these books, I'm like, yeah, I could look up to this. So there's The Sleepwalker. I think I'll give this 4 stars. And the next book in the series is book number 7, and it is called Haunted. And the book after this is called Halloween Party, which is one of my favorite Fear Street books, and I'm really excited to reread that and revisit it after all of these years. But for now, we're gonna read Haunted next, and I'm pretty pumped. Hey creeps. All right, so I just got a package in the mail. This is from World of Books USA, and there is a Fear Street book in here that I've been very excited about. It's actually a UK Fear Street edition, and I thought I would open it up on camera for you guys. And there's also a Christopher Pike UK edition, which I'm really excited about. All right, so you never know with World of Books USA what you're gonna get. I'm hoping the condition is really nice on these. This isn't in the best condition. It's not as good as I was hoping. But here we go. This is Halloween Party. I just love this cover. Look at that cover art. So cool. I love the US edition too, but man, that is an awesome cover. Never had a UK edition before. These are usually pretty rare, but I got a good deal on this. Oh, hello. All right. So this is awesome. When I ordered Slumber Party by Christopher Pike, the UK edition, I ordered this cover. And I really like that cover, but there is another cover that I like even more, and that is the one that's featured in Paperbacks from Hell by Grady Hendrix. And it's got like this close-up of a snowman on fire, and he's got like tears of blood coming out of his eyes. I wasn't able to find that copy anywhere, so I went ahead and settled on the cover that I just showed you. I still like that edition, and I really wanted that cover too, but look at the one I was sent. I was sent the one with the burning snowman. That is so cool. I totally thought I was going to be getting that other copy, but I'm glad I got this one because I like this cover even more. So yeah, got both of those. Very nice. I'm going to be reading Halloween Party next, so this is the edition I'm going to be reading. Okay, I am about halfway through Haunted, and in this book we are following a girl named Melissa, and she lives on Fear Street, of course. Who would live on Fear Street? But she does. And right now there is a prowler on the loose breaking into homes on Fear Street, and this has Melissa all paranoid. And now she is seeing a boy about her age appearing in her bedroom, and at first she thinks it's the prowler, but now she's not too sure. She's thinking he may be a ghost. And so far, I think this is the most paranormal, supernatural story that the Fear Street series has. This is like the introduction of some of the paranormal elements. We definitely had some paranormal elements in the Sleepwalker, but those were a little more subtle. It could be like, is it really supernatural? Is it not? This is a little more outright supernatural. I also really like that Della and Pete from the Overnight make an appearance in this book. That was really cool to see. I'm loving the, interconnected crossover characters. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things about reading the series in order from the beginning is that you notice those crossovers a whole lot more than I did when I was a kid reading the books out of order. Like I said, I'm about halfway through. I'm gonna go for a walk and then I'm gonna come back and hopefully I can finish this tonight. If not, I'll try to finish it tomorrow morning. Hey creeps, good morning. It is Tuesday morning. Right now it is 7:43. Just woke up a little bit ago and yeah, I'm ready to get on with the day. I'm super tired. Let's do this. I did a little more reading last night. I'm still just a little more than halfway through. I'm hoping I can finish this today. I should be able to. But first, I'm gonna make my bed. I'm going to get some cereal, make some tea. I also wanna meditate, and then I need to do some writing. I have a lot of writing I need to do, and then I need to film videos in the afternoon. So it's gonna be a while before I can get to the book, but I'll get to it later this evening. Now it's time for the most important part of the day, the sacred choosing of the mug. So today I think I'm gonna go with my Halloween mug right here because I don't know about you guys, but I am in the Halloween spirit. I need it here now. And today I am drinking, once again, the Evil Tea Company's Sacred Grove Peach and Apricot. This stuff is so good. Now, one thing I am liking about these early Fear Street books is that absent is R.L. Stine's cheap cliffhanger chapter endings. Now, R.L. Stine, of course, is most known for his cheap chapter cliffhanger endings. But in his earlier Fear Street books, there really aren't any. All of the chapter endings are pretty legit. I love R.L. Stine, and those endings are okay every once in a while, but once you've read a bunch of his books back to back and you've seen so many of those chapter endings, then it gets a little bit old. But I'm liking that that's not really the case with these early Fear Street books. Paul, are you here? Where did the ghost go when he wasn't there? Did he just fade into nothingness? Or was he always around, always watching her? Did he watch her undress? The idea was sort of exciting? Well, that paragraph didn't go where I thought it would. The shirt's a joke. I'm still enjoying my Fear Street binge. I just didn't really like this one as much as the first 5, 6. This is book 7. The first 6 books in the series. And I've also read several other Fear Street books in the series that come much later. This, I would say, is probably my least favorite Fear Street book. I'm sad to say, because I was actually really excited to read this, and I've been wanting to read this since I was a kid, and I just never got around to it. It's not that it's a bad book. It's still fun. Like I said, it's still a Fear Street book. It's still a good time. Like, if I get to sit outside and read this on a nice summer day while drinking some tea, that's a pretty good life, right? I can't complain. But it is a bit slow, and I gotta say, it is really, really corny and cheesy at the end. And there's a certain character that they try to kind of redeem, and I just wasn't really having it. I don't know. This one, it didn't really do it for me. I would say I give this about 2.5 stars, so it's not the best. But I'm really, really excited for this next book, book 8 in the series, and that is Halloween Party. Now, I have read this one. I read this, I would say, when I was like 13, 14 years old. So it's been a good, 15 years since I've read this, but I'm really excited to revisit this, and I hope it lives up to how much I liked it before, because I remember really enjoying this. And I am going to be reading my UK edition that I just ordered, because this one, it's in decent condition, but I would rather read this one than take a risk of damaging my really nice first edition copy. This, by the way, is Bob. At least that's what his name used to be. All right, it is a couple days later, and I just finished reading Halloween Party, and I would describe this as being exactly what The Surprise Party, book 2 of the Fear Street series, should have been. The Surprise Party doesn't get to the Surprise Party until like the last 10 pages of the book. This gets right into business. I would say like 95% of this book takes place at the Halloween party, which is what you want, right? So this is basically about a group of kids who have very little in common for the most part, who all receive invitations for this Halloween party at Cameron Mansion on Fear Street. And I thought that was really funny, because that's me. I am Cameron Mansion. It's this big, giant Gothic house with a cemetery in the front yard. If I were a mansion, this would be me. Honestly, I don't know why I'm not. Maybe in the next life I will be. So basically, it's this small group of kids, and they don't know why they've been invited to this party, but they're going to find out because somebody is cooking something up for them. And overall, I like this just about as much as I did when I was 13 when I read this. I say just about because it is a little bit slower than I remember it being, especially like this little middle section of the book. For the most part, it's pretty well paced, but there was a brief moment in the middle where I'm like, yeah, this is getting kind of slow. But overall, it's a fun book. If you haven't read Fear Street before, I would recommend maybe starting with Silent Night, but this would be a really good one to read after that. And then, of course, The Wrong Number, because that book was really good too. I also really liked The Sleepwalker. That was pretty good. Anyway, the next book in the series is book number 9, and that is The Stepsister. I've never read this, but I'm really excited to. But this video is already a half hour long, so I'll tell you what. I'm gonna end this one here, and then you can meet me back here in a couple weeks after the first Fear Street movie comes on Netflix. I will post the next part of my Fear Street binge read then. So until then, I'm just gonna be reading more Fear Street books, vlogging about it, living my best life, because I've loved this. This has been a lot of fun. I love going back to Shadyside. It's been a great time. I hope you creeps enjoyed this. Please don't forget to give me a like down below. I would really appreciate it. This video has taken a lot of work, and I would really appreciate just a like or comment down below. If you don't have anything to say, just say, hey creep, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode of Library Macabre. Later, creeps.